them. We're going to talk a lot of high school football tonight. We're going to talk Eagle Rock football. We're also going to talk about Sierra Canyon volleyball. They may be the best girls team in Southern California. Their head coach, Stefanie Wigfall, will join us a little bit later. And she has a great outside hitter, Olivia Babcock, who's already committed to the University of Pittsburgh. She'll join us as well. But we'll get to the football guys, Andy Moran and his fine linebacker, Brooklyn Pasten, in about a couple minutes. But I got my guy here tonight, Tarek Fattal. Need to discuss a few things. First and foremost, let's start with a little basketball note. You said you were driving over to the studio, and the great Brady Dunlap of Harvard Westlake announced that he's committing to Notre Dame.
That's right. Yeah, he's going to play for the Fighting Irish. Brady Dunlap, really good 6'7" wing, athletic, can shoot it. Had Harvard Westlake in the Open Division last year. Actually knocked off Sierra Canyon, so really good player. And he's committed to play for Notre Dame. So that happened today.
Great get for Mike Bray at the University of Notre Dame. Dunlap can really fill it up. All right, let's turn our attention to some football. St. John Bosco, Mater Dei. We're going to put some scores up. Those are the first two we always flash on. They played a couple teams from Hawaii. It seems like that Mater Dei and St. John Bosco mirror one another. They play teams from Hawaii. You can see, and the scores are even similar. Mater Dei 42-7 over Milani. St. John Bosco 34-7 over Kahuku. Those two teams are just separated from everybody.
I'm telling you, I think it's just a matter of time before some TV network comes in and creates like a super high school league. I'm telling you, and travels these guys and puts these games on TV, because Bosco and Mater Dei are just literally in a universe of their own. They have to fly to different states to play other power teams, and they thump those teams too. So I think it's literally a matter of time.
And Cleveland High School had a huge win over Palisades a week ago. Another big game was Eagle Rock over Granada Hills, and we'll get into that when we get to the coaching staff. And Cleveland's playing tonight again at Carson. And the last we heard, they were up by a point in the third quarter. And their great star, Corey Hall, had caught 2 long touchdown passes.
That's one of the teams to watch in the Valley, West Valley League. They're 4-0, right? And when we think about West Valley, we think of teams like Birmingham and El Camino Real. But here comes Cleveland having a great year, and so they've got athletes, and they could surprise some people.
Yeah, and we're going to have them on LA 36, Cleveland hosting El Camino Real. That'll be next week, and our guest on this show will be the head coach next week of the Cavaliers, Peter Gunny. Well, there is a great team that's starting to build some notoriety, the Eagle Rock Eagles. Now, they've had a fine program for a lot of years. Andy Moran seems to get it done just about every year, and Andy's going to join us. And they had a huge win, and I know you were there when they beat Granada Hills last week.
I was there. Now, I was really impressed with just the discipline. Dijon and Daryl Stanley are some of the fastest, most athletic players you're going to see in the city section. And Eagle Rock had no issues with those guys, beat them 37-22. So really good game. Again, the discipline and the defense stood out to me. And I actually talked to Coach Moran earlier in the week, and he said it was one of the better weeks to be a football coach, because he just felt like his team really grasped what he was trying to teach them. And maybe we'll talk about that a little bit tonight.
All right, let's bring the coach in. And again, one of the things I think he liked about the game, it was tight at halftime, but his offensive line really came on in the second half and did a terrific job. Coach Moran, there's your linebacker, Brooklyn Pasten. Coach, congratulations on the big win against Granada Hills. And am I right? Did the offensive line come together finally the way you wanted them to come together?
Went in the right direction with that group. So, yeah, definitely just took 4 games.
Coach, tell us a little bit about Brooklyn, the guy to your screen left, my right. Why is Brooklyn Pasten such a good linebacker, and why is he a young man you selected to have on this show?
Well, Brooklyn's one of our team captains. He has been part of our varsity team since we moved him up in the playoffs as a freshman, and he actually saw some playing time as a freshman in 2018. He's a really loyal guy to Eagle Rock. His dad was a great player at Eagle Rock, and to be honest, in this day and age, he's one of these kids that a lot of people are sneaking in your backyard trying to poach. So his loyalty means a lot to me, and I know it means a lot to our coaching staff that he remained in Eagle all 4 years.
Brooklyn, talk about the defensive effort it took to really slow down those Stanley cousins and get that win over Granada? Talk about maybe what the game plan was and how you executed it.
Yeah, so coming into the game, like, we knew they had, crazy speed, and so it was just going to be, making sure everyone did their job and, hit their gaps properly. And, we spent a lot of time, like, every lunch and every fourth period, watching film as a team and making sure that, everyone knew their assignments. And I think it really paid off, and it showed, Friday when, we got a big win over them. Especially in that second half, I feel like we did a great job.
Brooklyn, the assistant coach at Eagle Rock is Greg Pierce, and he's a defensive guy. Tell me what Greg Pierce brings to that defense as a coach and how he's helped you.
I think he's, especially his last 2 years, me starting on varsity and, being a linebacker, he prepares really well. Like we'll come in Monday at lunch, and, he has all the formations drawn out and what defense we're going to run, the assignments. And I think that's helped me a lot too, just being prepared. And so when it comes to the game, we are already ready, and we know, what they're going to run. And yeah, his preparation is amazing.
Andy, we talked a little bit earlier in the week, and I know you said the team doesn't talk much about winning, but you say, hey, I think we know where we're headed, and I think the rumblings are, hey, this could be an open division team. Obviously, there's games to win to get there, but how do you like the way this team is trending? Do you like the way Eagle Rock football is playing right now?
Well,
Yeah.
I'll tell you. Last year, about 15 months ago, we came back from COVID, had no 2020 spring season. I think our first day we had 13 kids show up for practice, and probably 11 of them were offensive linemen. Somehow that group was able to kind of get a team off the ground, and it was a real struggle last year. And those kids really saved Eagle Rock football, and what this group has been able to do, build from that momentum, it's really impressive. It's really inspiring.
One of those kids is Jacob Bernal, and I know he's in your offensive line and he's on the defensive front. Talk about his contribution and what he's meant to the Eagle program.
Jacob is no-nonsense, hardworking, does not say much at practice other than getting his players, his teammates in line. He is probably the best two-way guy I've been around since I've been at Eagle Rock. He has a motor on defense. He is hard and difficult to block, and he is a really, really quality offensive lineman, and somebody that I think, along with Brooklyn and several other players on our team that are getting it done in the classroom, are going to qualify and be able to play at the next level.
Brooklyn, what's the game you've got circled on the schedule when it comes to league play? What's the big league game everyone's getting geeked up for?
Franklin,
and why?
That's the game. Just, those are our rivals, and last year we had a tough loss to them at their house, and that for the last year that game's been circled, and we've been preparing to host them and take it to them this time, and come out with a win this time.
Coach, when I think of great communities in the LA City section, immediately to my mind I think of San Pedro, but Eagle Rock is this community that's sitting there that's kind of like San Pedro. I know they're different areas of the city, but there's something about that Eagle Rock area that beloves their players and their school. Talk about your community.
No, I would agree. I think Eagle Rock definitely has a more suburban experience. Just as a high school in general, it's one of the top high schools in the city. It's a school that there's a waiting list to get into. There's definitely a community environment here. All you got to do is go down Eagle Rock Boulevard or Colorado Boulevard and kind of see or experience Eagle Rock for yourself. A lot of mom and pop shops and just a really good home feeling here at Eagle Rock.
Brooklyn, I want to talk to you about being a senior and what it means to you at Eagle Rock. it's got to be special, one, to have a team that's so far undefeated. But what do you feel about your senior year? What has made it such a fun time for you?
For me, it's been, just how amazing, like the group of guys we have this year on our team. I think we have, an amazing group of guys that, that's dedicated and they're all like hardworking and, you look forward to going to practice every day. And I feel like that's what just made this year, especially like enjoyable, that not only are we super successful, but that it's just fun to be around those guys. Everybody wants to win and, everyone's putting their best foot forward, so that's made it a great year so far.
Coach, just kind of talk about keeping these guys engaged on the task at hand. I know you're kind of a week-to-week guy. I actually asked you a question like 5 minutes ago and about where this team's headed, and you went around it, and that's fine. So it only tells me that you're just focused on the week ahead of you, and I love that. Just kind of talk about what that process is like and keeping those guys focused on just the game ahead of you, not what's beyond that.
I got you. Well, I mean, I would like to say that it would be a huge honor to be in the Open, and to be one of the Elite Eight in the city is a big honor for any team that comes out of our league. So it's definitely something we aspire to be the best in our league and to be one of those top 8 teams. So I hope I wasn't trying to dodge that question. I just feel really inspired by what this team has been able to build off of last year's team. But we just talk about complacency a lot. We have a group of assistant coaches that bring it up. We were talking about it after the game, not getting too high, not getting too low. We had a long talk about it on Monday. And just, what was special about what happened with beating a team that's as good as Granada Hills was how we did it, and that what we did Monday through Thursday was way more inspiring than what we were able to do on Friday, because what we did on Monday through Thursday. So just trying to remind them of the process and how important that is, and why what we did Friday was so special because of that process.
Well, Coach, and Brooklyn, congratulations on a terrific start, 5-0. I think you'll be in the Open. And from what we've seen from City Section football this year, it's going to be wide open, and I give your team just as good a chance as anyone else. I still think San Pedro's the team to beat, but Eagle Rock is definitely in the hunt. And, Coach, I've seen your games for many, many years, back when you were at some other schools, and Andy Moran football teams always seem to be right around the championship. So we wish you the best of luck, and thanks for joining us tonight on SoCal Prep Report.
Thank you. Thanks for having us on.
Thank
we
you.
really appreciate it.
All right, and good luck, Brooklyn. Have fun the rest of the way in your senior year. Eagle Rock's for real. I mean, there's no really super teams. I like San Pedro. I've echoed that sentiment throughout the season here, but there are no guarantees, and Eagle Rock's playing really well.
Yeah, you can't write them off, and I saw it with my own 2 eyes. Again, was super impressed. Their discipline, that to me was what stood out. And when you're talking about high school athletics and you got these young people running around, man, if they can talk to their coach and listen to their coach and execute a game plan, that's going to set you up for success, and Eagle Rock does that.
Another team that had success last week was on our air, El Camino Real. They went to Narbonne as an underdog, but it was the Royals that upset Narbonne. They won the game 32-22. It was a great win for Jason Zabalik's team, and we have some highlights from that game. And the first touchdown of the game was Colin Armida up the middle. On the opening drive, the Royals scored.
This was I would call it like an upset. We don't say upset in high school, more of like a shocker, but I did not expect ECR to beat Narbonne.
That's the quarterback, Javen Hall. He's a junior who can really run the ball. But really the back-breaking play for El Camino Real was the interception by Caden McCoy. And it's going to happen right here. It's about an 80-yard return. Narbonne was driving. They would have cut the lead down to inside of a score. It would have been a 6 or 7 point game if they would have got a touchdown. This turned the tables on the Gauchos. McCoy's touchdown. This is one of the big plays in recent years for El Camino to get a win over a team from the Marine League like Narbonne.
Well, I'll tell you what, sometimes, I know Jason Sabalik's been coaching the right way, and when you're in high school and the team's not winning, it's hard to continue to keep on that path, and sometimes you need a nice victory to show those kids, hey, you're doing it the right way. So to go on the road and get a win like that, pretty impressive.
It really is. They have a bye this week, El Camino. Next week, we'll have them on the air again against Peter Gunny's Cleveland team in Corey Hall, and that should be fun. You're talking about interesting coaches. I'm going to let you introduce the next coach and player. I know you like these people from Sierra Canyon.
Yeah. I saw Sierra Canyon play on Tuesday night, the girls volleyball team. Coach Stefanie Wigfall and player Olivia Babcock. Really impressive win over Alamany. Swept them and unbeaten in the Mission League.
And Alamany has a terrific team. That kind of surprised you? They beat them 3 straight?
Man, I kind of felt Sierra Canyon would get the win. Sweep, I felt like Alamany might have got a set off them, and they almost did. But no, it was a sweep, so that was a little impressive.
Let's find out from Stefanie right now if she was surprised that they won in 3 straight games. Stefanie Wigfall, we got to congratulate her. She just had a new child, a baby boy, about a month ago, and congratulations. So we bring Stefanie and Olivia in to talk about the Trailblazers volleyball program. They are. I'm not sure which one the student is and which one the coach is. They both look so young. But Stefanie, congratulations. Olivia, congratulations to you as well on a great senior year. And Stefanie, we'll start with you. Were you surprised? I know you won earlier today against an inferior Notre Dame team, but this win over Alamany was special. They're very good. Were you surprised that you knocked them out in 3 straight sets?
Yeah, I mean, I always say I go into every match expecting to lose. That's just how I mentally prepare. Not to say that, I don't have a certain level of confidence in this team, but for me, I'm always going in feeling like the teams are going to give us their absolute best. So, the result, I wouldn't say I'm surprised, but I also wouldn't have been surprised if we were there for a 5-setter. I just think, volleyball is so dependent upon, serving and passing and the little details of the game. So I'm going to go with no, I wasn't surprised, but I also really respect that team. And I just know my team really wanted that win. So it was a fun game. It was a fun match.
All right, give us a baby update. How's the child doing?
Oh, he's great. He's great. He's my second boy. Our house is just loud and chaotic, and we love it. Obviously didn't plan that perfectly right with the newborn born right during high school season. So that's been fun trying to juggle all of those things. But, the community's been great. Sierra's been great. The team, everyone's just been so supportive of us and our family. And so they're great. Both kids are great. And the new guy is just the perfect addition. So it's been fun.
Olivia, we saw you on Tuesday. You had such an impressive game. Talk a little bit about your senior year and just what the team is trying to accomplish. Are there kind of day-to-day goals, week-to-week goals, big goals? Talk about the team goals this year.
I really think we are a day-to-day team. Honestly, I feel like every practice, our goal is to get better. I know we've been working a lot on passing, so I think getting our passing and serve receive better is definitely one of our main goals, and I think we've been doing a really good job. And another goal, just an overall goal that we have, is to stay consistent, and I think that's what's been really getting us through and making us as successful as we are. So, yeah, that's probably what I'd say.
Olivia, you have an immense total, like 5 kills per set, which is a huge number in prep volleyball. What motivates you to get better? Because you're the star every night. You're the one seeing the ball. You're the one putting it down, going from antenna to antenna. What's your drive? What's your motivation?
Every day I want to get better. I always tell myself, I need to work on this, I need to work on this. And every night before a game, I'll write down my goals for that game. So that already motivates me a little bit. And then before the game, I'll just review it to myself and tell myself what I'm trying to do. And I just go out there and do my best to do it. So I think that's why I've been performing as well as I have recently.
Coach, we've seen numerous great Sierra Canyon volleyball players go on and play at the next level. And not just play, but do well. And I think that is really a coup to you and the way you run your program. Is that kind of one of your goals as a coach, to run like a college level program so that transition is easier? And if so, what are some things you do to help that transition?
Yeah, I think it's twofold, because not every high school athlete is gonna get that opportunity to go and play at that next level. So our program still wants to be really, just beneficial and positive to those kids. But at the same time, we have players like Olivia who are going to step onto the stage at the next level and make an immediate impact and be have the potential to be superstars. So, for me, I am just very focused on making sure these girls know what's going to be expected of them at the next level, making sure they know that they have the capabilities to perform at that level, to manage their time at that level, to be really high functioning student athletes. So that's a huge part of how we run our program is, in order to be ready for that next level, let's try and simulate that here and what that's going to look like on a day-to-day basis, and just, help them prepare so that when they do, take that step, that they aren't shocked, and they have a feel for what the expectations are going to be.
Now, Olivia, when I think of women's volleyball, I think of UCLA, some of the powers like that, Penn State, some of the really powerful schools. I don't think of Pitt, but Pitt is obviously a good program. It's a long way away. I have relatives in that neighborhood. It's a gorgeous city. Why would you choose Pittsburgh when you're in your own backyard? We have SC, UCLA, Long Beach State, Pepperdine, programs who are very well known for women's volleyball. Why Pitt?
Well, a lot of people told me that when you're on the campus that you want to be at, you're just going to know that it's for you. And I think I kind of felt that when I went to Pitt, but I also know that they're building a really good program. And even though they're really good now, I think in 2 to 3 years, once all the commits for my class and the next few classes come in, I think we're easily going to be one of the powerhouse schools. So I just saw the potential, and I think it's going to reach its max potential on there. So yeah, that's why.
And now, how quickly do you think you can get in their lineup? Do you think you can walk on campus as a freshman and really do some damage for the Panthers?
I mean, I think if I keep working hard and make sure that I'm getting better every day, I think it's possible. So that's my goal.
Good for you. Olivia, we talked a little bit on Tuesday. I saw there was in the first game, you hit a ball and it went out. We talked about this. It went out, and I think you were a little ticked off about that. Then she came back, and
she's too nice to be.
Oh no,
ticked off.
that's what we're going to talk about. So this is what I'm saying. You're nailing it, Randy. So then she comes back and she hits another one straight down,
right?
And she said across the net, that one's in. And I saw it. I was like, okay, she's talking a little smack. And so when I told that to Stefanie was like, good. I'm glad to hear that. Talk a little bit about that competitiveness in a game. It seemed like maybe at first when I was talking to you about it, maybe you weren't comfortable doing something like that maybe last year or when you were younger, but now as a senior, you're a little more comfortable with that confidence. Can you talk about that a little bit?
I mean, I'm just a really competitive person, and especially in high intensity matches, I'm always trying to be the most competitive one on the court. And I feel like if there's like a play like that, I'm gonna get really riled up because that ball was definitely in. So I was definitely uptight about that. So I already knew before I hit the next ball, I'm like, whatever happens right now, I'm probably gonna have a really big reaction to it. And it just so happened that that was the reaction I had. I didn't think it made that much of an impact until the ref actually pulled me aside and said I probably shouldn't be doing stuff like that. But I was just competitive.
Well, she should be competitive.
Yeah, it's
really
great.
good.
It's good. It's a good thing, trust me.
It's good. It's good to be competitive. Coach, when I think about Southern Section volleyball, and I know Sierra Canyon's had a great program, I think of Miracosta, I think of Miramont, I think of Mater Dei. But obviously this year, you're right there with all of them. You've beaten Miramont, you split with Miracosta. What is the ultimate goal? What is the down road plans for the Trailblazers? What can this team accomplish?
The sky's the limit for this group. I've had a lot of great players in this program. I don't know if I've had them all at the same time, like I feel like Sierra Canyon does now. So, we've established ourselves, the past 4 or 5 years in this top group. We've still, at the end of the day, not been able to take down some of the major powerhouse programs that you mentioned. So seeing that we're already, tapping into that, we're already taking some big wins, both here in SoCal and nationally. If we stay healthy and we continue to get better in the ways that we're looking to get better, I think that we can really compete here at the end of the season. And, we've had conversations lately about, what is the true scouting report against us? What are other teams and coaches going to be focused on when they're trying to take us down? And we've really turned that into our training plan. And how can we individually, as coaches, as players, and as a team, neutralize those game plans against us? And so I think if we stay healthy and we keep the attitude that we have now, which is just get better every day, that we can line ourselves up to be, a true competitor at the end of this postseason.
Well, you've played a lot of matches. You're 24-3. You've had a terrific season, and we wish you'd continued success. And we also have to say one thing about Olivia Babcock. She didn't tell the truth to us. We were told she was not going to be a good interview. She didn't think she was a good interview. She's a great interview, and we appreciate Olivia coming on the show. Look at that smile. Great player. We appreciate her interview because it was really, really good. Thank you, and best of luck to the Trailblazers going forward.
Thank you both. Thanks for having us.
Okay, that's
Thank you.
Stephanie and Olivia. They got a great team, obviously, and you've been following them all season long.
Look, if we're being honest, when you think Sierra Canyon, which if I'm not mistaken is the most Googled high school in the country.
It is.
You think football, you think the hoops. Hey, wait a minute. The girls' volleyball program is very good in their own right. They send players to college all the time, and so, hey, they could be hoisting a CIF title at the end of this year. We'll see.
We're at the point in the show where I always ask you, what are you doing tomorrow night on Friday? Where are you going?
I will be at College of the Canyons tomorrow. They are hosting Saugus and West Ranch, two teams unbeaten in the Foothill League. I think West Ranch is en route of its first ever Foothill League title. They got to beat Saugus tomorrow night.
And as we look at these games, key games that are coming up, West Ranch, Saugus, the game at College of the Canyons, right there. Of course, Ryan Staub, the great quarterback of West Ranch, having a terrific year. He was on our program last week. Great kid on his way to Colorado. Loyola at Oaks Christian. Now, that might be a trap game for Oaks Christian.
Huh. Weird. Maybe you read some of my coverage.
That would be a rarity.
Yeah, it is rare. That's exactly what I'm calling that. Oaks Christian played a great game against Sarah Gardena last week. I think they're actually feeling pretty good about it, even though they lost. And Marmani League starts next week. So Loyola's, I think, 1-3 or maybe 1-4. So Oaks Christian could ho-hum it and lose if they're not careful, but I think they'll be fine.
What do you think? Birmingham gets its first win. They played a grueling schedule against Southern Section teams. Now they're on the road. CIF Southern Section Hueneme, but that's a game they should win.
I agree with you. Do not be surprised if Birmingham makes another run at that city open division. Every year they go 1-3, 0-4, 1-5, and then they start playing these city section teams and they start rolling.
Do they win the Hueneme game?
Yes, I think they beat Hueneme.
Okay, and the one on the bottom to me is intriguing. That's why I put it down there. Servite isn't as good as they've been in the last few years, but now they're going to go to Helix, a powerhouse in the San Diego section. And all you have to know about Helix is they always have great athletes.
Isn't that where Reggie Bush went? Or no?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. They do always have great athletes. Servite, rebuilding. Troy Thomas knows what he's doing. That would probably be a great confidence victory. They could get on the road down to San Diego and win that game.
Okay, so we heard from Andy Moran. We heard from Stefanie Wigfall, the two coaches we had on tonight. Those teams, you think, have chances to win championships in their respective divisions?
Eagle Rock certainly, I think, will go to the Open, and Sierra Canyon will certainly earn a berth to the top playoff division CIF. So I think those are locks. Can they win? I think Sierra Canyon has a better chance to winning a CIF title than Eagle Rock might have winning the Open division title, but they will certainly make a good run at it.
How'd you think? What'd you think of that Olivia Babcock interview? That was pretty good, wasn't it?
She's really impressive. I'm actually, if you're watching, definitely check in at dailynews.com this Sunday. I'm writing a column and a feature on Olivia Babcock. So really
why did she tell us she wasn't going to be a good interview?
I don't know. I'm not really exactly sure about that.
She was great.
Yeah, she's fantastic. Very impressive athlete, very impressive young lady, and really excited to get to cover her this year.
Well, Tarek, our time's up. That's going to do it for this week. Good having you here. We'll be back next week. And we know for sure we're going to have Peter Gunny of Cleveland High School next week as well to preview that game with El Camino Real, which now figures to be a really good game since ECR has put together a couple of victories in a row. So for Tarek and our entire LA36 crew, I'm Randy Rosenbloom saying so long for now, and we'll see you next week, Thursday at 9, right here on LA36 for SoCal Prep Report. Good night, everybody.